มาแล้วอัน
เอ้
แบบ
ยเมื่อกี้พักน้ำผมมาส่งพอดี
โอ้ยจริงเหรอ
เออจ ริง
พัก
ครับ
นานไป
ได้น้ำแล้ว
จัดไปแล้วต้องคุยยาวๆนะฮะ alright so moving to second part that we are going to discuss for today class, right? Okay, so I'm going to let you see for four following questions here. Describe an especially memorable photo or picture. Compare and contrast 1919s and Y2K. Are you familiar with these two terms?
อ่ะโอเคโอเค
Okay, right. Okay, so you can talk about like maybe a previous generation, and then compare and contrast to strategic sport plays. So basically, for compare and contrast would be the idea for a discussion part for part three speaking. Okay, compare and contrast texture and chess. โอเคยากโอเคแต่ไม่เป็นไรน่าจะทำได้อืม play gaming,
โอเค
gambling, something like that, right? Okay, we can start from the first question here. Describe an especially memorable photo and picture.
mm. I think that the memorable pictures or photo that I want to describe is a photo of my classmate in middle school. Uh, it is a photo when we graduate and it have everyone in the photos, even teachers or and all the classmates. Uh, in that day that we took this photo, I think it's one of the most saddest and happiest day in one photo. Yes, it gave me two emotion in that photos because uh everybody have to separate uh yes after I graduate and it and I feel very sad because our classroom are very love each others and love teachers. Yes, our class is the middle school is best class in my life. I think my friend in this class are very good and is and that day is the one of happy day too because we all graduate and we will meet a new thing that we never have met before after the middle school ends and uh, it will be a great experience in the future and it's very interesting to meet a new thing but and also this photos give me many memories bring back because it brings a time that we play together or we sat together we do a group work together and yes it have many special days in that one photos and I think even we graduate or we my friends and we meet in the many years later we will bring this photo and can talk a lot of story about it. That's why I think it's a special memorable pictures of me. Yes.
Okay, good. มาถึงคิวพี่แล้วใช่ไหม well, I think if I could describe an especially memorable photo or picture, I would go for one of my favorite photo group with my family members. It happened to me during when I was really, when I was a teenager, and I've got a chance to come back to my hometown and celebrate it with all those people within my families, my mom, my dad, my sister, brothers, and other people, relatives, right? Relative, right? My relative too gathering in such a one place. This is really especially memorable photo just because everyone's smiling. Everyone used to share the old memories and what happens to their own life. So I have to say that this was really happened to me just because everyone got there, and I think that just because the photo can be seen as everyone gathering together in such a one place, and that is the reason that I think it should be recorded in my memory and it can be referred to memorable photo that I've ever made. The really interesting point from my memorable photo is that just because the way that the photo has been recorded in that scene is that it's portrait photo, meaning that everyone have their own position and they act as like they have got the different positions in our family. So this is really make me recall back into other people in my family, and I think that it is a really great hope for me when I look at that picture. It signifies something that I never known it before. I mean, sometimes like past memory within my family interaction, family members gathering together in such places, or even doing something together is really meant for me to do so. And that's really important for my memory just because I think it's kind of a flashback to those people who really have a chance to do so. And I have to say that just because the reason is that the family members gathering together and that become to be one of my memorable photo ever had. Yeah. นะประมาณ
อืม
นี้
อืมโอเคครับเออ
อ่า
แต่ไอ้
นะครับ
ข้อนี้ง่ายนะไอเอข้อเออันนี้รู้สึกว่า
ข้อเอนี่
พูดได้
ง่ายใช่ไหม
เยอะดี
อ่า
อันนี้
และ
แบบเออดูแบบทั่วไป
อ่านะครับโอเคถ้าอย่างนั้นก็ต้องเป็น compare and contrast 19 and Y2K
อืมwell I think that uh the 19th and Y2K have a lot of contrast and compare. I born at a Gen Z children and I uh, especially know a lot about Gen Y and Gen Alpha. That brings me a lot of information to compare 19th and Y2K generation. I think the change, a big change in 19 to Y2K have three categories. The first one I think is technologies because 19th generation to Y2K generations technologies change a lot. Uh, in 19th, many people use only a envelope or have don't have a heart to communicate compared to this generation. This generation have telephone and more easy to communicate with your friends or doing a work. In 19th generations, many people must come to work and using a paper. But in Y2K generation, people can working at home and using a computers or a electronic device to make the work more easier. The second uh, thing that I want to compare, I think it is a daily life of people in two generations. In 19th, people need to work in the morning and come to work early using pens, pencils, working. Yes, and in 19th, uh, many parents want their children to being a teacher, soldier, lawyer, doctor. But in Y2K generation, parent doesn't don't strict about what their children want to be in the future. They have freedom. They give children freedom to choose what they want to be. And the third one that I think is a big change in the old generation and new generation. I think it is a transportation.
Mm,
Because in 19th, people, many people transport by trains, and a few people have their own car. Yes, private car. Mostly people transport by trains or by bicycle, and they walking to school sometimes. Yes. But in this day, people, almost every people have their own car and their own motorcycle, and many people use that vehicle to go to work or school, or sometimes people in a big city, to avoid a traffic jam, they use uh, BTS or airport rail link to travel faster. Yes, that's that. Uh, that's the thing that I want to compare in the old generation, 19 generation, and a Y2K generation. Yes.
ยากเนาะ ที่เปลี่ยนเนี่ยนะที่เปลี่ยนเป็นแบบ past past generation and new generation ก็พอเนาะ
อืม
จะได้ง่าย
อืม
โอเค so for this question I'm going to discuss between maybe previous or past generation and new or current generations. I have to say that I'm going to talk about for three aspects that I'm going to say. The first one is about, viable transportation, or the way that commute to travel back and forth between past generation and new generation. Second, I think it's all about lifestyle and day-to-day interaction between people or communication style between past generation and new generation. And lastly, I think that I'm going to talk about the technology that can be, added into education from the past generation, between past generation and through the new generations. All right. So this is the threefold that I'm going to discuss for compare and contrast between past generation and new generation here. When it comes to say that a communication technology or transportation, back into the previous time, I have to say that people in the previous generation may not have to have any, accessible to the transportation much. So it means that the way that people travel back and forth might be not easy and convenient compared to new generation from time to time. And I think that just because the new technology has not been implemented or even added into those people in the previous generation, that is the reason why that all generation cannot be even accessed to the landmark or the main point of way that people can travel to. Comparing to next generation or current living here, I have to say that we are really convenient and easy to accessible from where to go. And even it is close to a far, far beyond that we are going to see. This is really make a big difference between the two way of commute or even the way that we can use transportation for a communication based on the two different time from the previous time until the current time. Second, I'm going to talk about people lifestyle or even the way that people interaction from the previous time and current, generation. Back into the previous time, I have to say that the people interaction might be close and connected, just because we didn't have even use much more such a mobile devices. And this is distant location or even, the way that people interact must be close. And this is really fully engaged with the way that people interaction, internalize and keep understanding between a people to a people. This is very big different from the people in our generation, especially for new generation, just because we have to heavily relying on the way that we use for mobile devices. So the connection between people or face-to-face interaction might be deprived or even losing much more than ever used to. And I think that just because the way that people lifestyle or interaction between people might be changed and shaped into what we can connect to through the mobile devices. So this is maybe such an advantage. But anyway, when we talk about psychological crisis, it might not be outweighed much when we use heavily relying on the way that we use such a online tool for communication. But to me, I have to understand just because we have to be adaptable for the way that people for the next generation have to do so. So being reliant on a technology give much more advantage too, just because we can connect. We can easily connect it to other people from all over the world. So this is really important for the next generation can connect to each other. And lastly, I have to say that just because we heavily depend on much more, instant messaging in the mobile devices through online communication. So the way that communication in the next generation might be different from the previous generation. We cannot even deny that we are easily controlled by online connection, but what we are really consider in it is that we have to make sure that our life must be balanced between the real interaction and in the social media interaction too. So this is really important just because for the communication, it's not just only for the online communication, but we have to make sure that we open for the close group communication, especially for our friends, our member, our close group community. This is really important to make sure that our interaction must be in realistic way, not just fake or just not transparent or just like temporary way to do so. All in all, I have to say that a big change and shape different from the previous generation into next generation or new generation has transformed the way that people living from many different aspects. Firstly, when we talked about the commute transportation, it might be different. The way that people using lifestyle in such a close group community and the way that people relying on the way in a daily life using online communication instead of other things. This is a big change, but we have to rely on just because we must be adaptable in an effective way for the modern days. Thank you นะฮะอ่า
อืม
พูดไปนะฮะพูดเหมือนนั่นเลยเนาะ public speaking เลยเนาะเหนื่อยเลย
จริงครับ
อยู่ต้องฝึกพูด เป็นไงบ้างอ่ะ fluency ก่อน fluency ของ
โอ
ยู
เคครับผมว่า
ดีขึ้น
ก็โอเคครับ
นะครับโอเค accuracy จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยพอเรา
ก็
discuss เนี่ย accuracy เราไม่ต้อง concern มากเพราะว่ามันจะต้องพูด
อืม
เน้นคำศัพท์เป็นหลักwhen we talk about discussion
อื
part
ม
I think that the way that we have to control tenses grammar point or the way that we use past form is not significant than when we use such a very vocabulary in such academic discussion part here. And I think that the accuracy must be rely on the way that we have to proper use some academic vocabulary, what the way that we have to use a feeling word, for example, like in my opinion, in my perspective, to me personally, things like that. So you have to start up with some kind of word and just go through the information, what you are going to say later. Yep. นะฮะ
อืม
ประ
โอเคครับ
มาณนั้นcompare and contrast to strategic sport plays
อืมuh well I think that the strategic sport plays that I want to compare is sport and chess. In these two sports, the main point of playing is the strategies the player plays, but it have a lot of difference in these two sports too. Uh, the first one is the luck used in the sport. Chess, I think chess is s- uh chess is the sport that use very doesn't use a lot at all. I think because it two side black and white, they have a uh yes they have a chess in the same amount, and different chess have their own abilities. Players must to manage the abilities of chess themselves. It use no luck because it have a resource in the same resource in every players, and the chess that can attack the king of another players will win first. Uh, the luck in playing esport, I think esport use a luck more than chess because sometimes uh characters in esport games sometimes they hide in the brush or hide in the something that's opponent cannot see. If the opponent come and check the side that you hide, they can kill you. But in another way, if they don't check, you can kill them. I think esport use more luck than chase. The second one is the information in the game that you have. Uh, I think chase doesn't use a lot of information. They use a sense of playing and the high skill plays of chess players. And players who playing chess must have a I think a lot sometimes sense to manage what the future plays they will do. In esport, players must find the info of the opponents and uh yes and it will brings a win to the team because the opponent info is very important. And the last one is team play, teamwork. Chase doesn't use teamwork at all. Chase use only a strategy to plays and the skill plays of players. The sense that what turn they want to walk or what time they or time management. That's and chess doesn't use teamwork at all. And in another hand, esport use a lot of teamwork because many games playing with the team and they must use teamwork, communication, and skill play to playing. It's a that's it. Three big difference of uh two strategic sport. The main point is the same, but the play is have a lot of difference. Yes, between sport and chess.
อืมอืมอืมอืมพี่กำลังคิดอยู่อ่ะเอ๊ะจะพูดอะไรดี alright compare and contrast to strategic sport play right. Well, I think that I'm not be familiar with some kind of strategy or strategic planning for a sport player much, but what I'm saying to say here is that I just want to compare between strategic sport player, between individual space player and team players. Just because I think that for those who have initiative start doing such a sport player, right? For individual, I think it depends on how strategic that we can rely on our strength and potential. All right. So this is the first start for other people to start playing game. For example, like those people who start doing sport player by understanding their strength and weaknesses, right? This is really important just because I think that they can start from their own first and then they can become bigger. And when it comes to team players, this is very important just because we can use our strength in order to combat or fight against with other teams properly and professionally. However, I think just because when it comes to talk about team player, we can say that it is I highly recommend, highly stated that strategic sport player can be a key term to make it happen here. I have to say that the strategy is that the planning for a player to set aside from what we are going to get it in, final result. For example, once we consider that we are going to be good at hitting such a winning game, so the strategic plan for a sport player might be set up into the frontier instead of the backward. I think it is very important. For example, just take a very simple example here for a football player. I have to say that to those people who are really competent and really talented, they have to set aside from other teams with frontier instead of a middle or in the last backward, right? So this is really important for the strategic sport players just because they can win a game easily. Anyway, I have to say that just because it is individual doesn't mean that they're gonna have just only four. They're gonna have just only four. The strength, sometimes we have to see some weaknesses can become and turn it to be such a positive or benefit aspect too. For example, like those people who are not, good at controlling other people with size or quickly, use tactic or even strategic play. So I think that in order to use some kind of weaknesses and plan for the strength might be a key strategic for sport players too, especially when it comes for the team players. And I mean that collaborative team is the strategic sport player, meaning that teamwork is a key here. Just because when we gathering, it's not just only our self, right? Sometimes it can collaborative with other people. We can see some strength from others. We can see some weaknesses from others, and then we can use it as a collaborative team and make it happen, make it winning in a later time. Yeah, that's all about my strategy and strategic planning here.
อืม
คือประเด็นคือพูดไม่ออกเพราะไม่ค่อย it's not my
ไม่แต่
experience
ไอ
actually
เดียพี่ดีนะพออธิบายเป็นทีมกับแบบเดียวอ่ะ
เออใช่ไหมได้
อืม
นะฮะเป็นไงบ้างอ่ะ vocab เราเป็นไงบ้างผมว่า
ก็
speaking ที่เราคุยกันมาเนี่ยอะไรจะคือยากที่สุดครับในการทำให้มัน
ยากที่สุดอ่ะ
achieve เท่าที่เราฝึกมาเรารู้สึกอะไรที่มันเป็นตัว struggle สำหรับผมมากที่สุด
อืม accuracy ก็ยากอยู่แต่ว่ามันก็
คำศัพท์ไหม
ได้พูดไป
คำศัพท์ไหม
มันก็พอได้vocab ก็ส่วนหนึ่งครับถ้า
vocab
เกิด
ก็ยาก
ในบางเรื่องด้วยแหละใน
เอ
ถ้า
อ
vocab
vocab ก็ยากใช่ไหมฮะเออ
อืม
เออ
มัน
vocab นี่ยาก
มัน
ยังไงยากประมาณไหนลองเล่าให้พี่ฟังหน่อย
หมายถึงบางทีเราก็รู้คำนะพี่แต่พอพูดแล้วแบบมันเพิ่งมานึกออกหลังพูดเสร็จไปแล้วว่าอ๋อไอ้คำนี้มันรู้เนี่ยมันต้องคิดเลยไปเลยอ่ะ
อ่า I see โอเค
บางทีผมก็มานึกออกหลังพูดเสร็จว่ามันไอ้นี่มันพูดคำนี้ได้แบบ
อืมอืม
ตอนพูดนั้นนึกไม่ออก
อืมอืม
เราต้องไปเลย
นะฮะประมาณนี้
อืม
compare contrast ได้เนาะโอเค
ครับ
แล้วพอ
ผม
เราพูดเรื่องเมื่อกี้เนี่ยเราพูดเรื่องแบบ Y2K กับ 90s นะฮะทีนี้เนี่ยพอเราพูดเรื่อง past กับ present หรือว่าpresent future past อะไรอย่างเงี้ยยากไหม
อืม
ในมุมเรา
ก็พาร์ทฟิวเจอร์อะไรก็เมื่อกี้ก็พอแบบ
compare
ก็
compare ไม่น่า
ก็พอได้อยู่ครับ
นะโอเค
อืม
ต้องดึงไอเดียไหมต้องรู้ไหมบางเรื่อง
ไอเดียผมว่าผมก็มีเยอะอยู่แต่บางทีถ้ากฎหมายถ้าอะไรนั่นแหละเหมือนเดิมนั่นแหละก็อาจจะ
ไม่กฎหมายมันไม่ได้มันอาจจะไม่ได้เจอก็ได้วันนั้นน่ะมันเป็น
ใช่หรือ
ข้อ
มันอาจจะ
สอบคัดเกรด
ลำบากนิดนึง
เฉยๆแต่ความจริงแล้วเนี่ยวันจริงที่เราไปสอบมันไม่ค่อยมันค่อนข้างแรร์เคสที่จะออกกฎหมาย
อืม
แต่มันอาจจะมีแบบเฉียดแต่ไม่ใช่ให้พูดแบบ เป็น legislative เป็นแบบ law
อืม
เป็นอะไรขนาดนั้นในมุมพี่นะพี่รู้สึกว่าตัว
อืม
ที่มันเอ่อหนึ่งก็คือสำคัญที่สุดสำหรับ speaking เนี่ยมันต้อง up trending หมายความว่าเอ่อ
ใช่ใช่ลอง attending อ่ะเออ
I mean, for some kind of topic, right? For example, like just
yes
because we are living in the online
yes
area, online
Y2K อะไรเนี่ย
purchase, yeah, sometimes like we have to make sure that we up to date what kind of
yes
knowledge or trending that we are going to follow up, right? So this is the reason
yeah
why for discussion part, just because we have to make sure that we change the idea from what up to date in the present time, right? อ่ะมาครับข้อสุดท้าย compare and contrast shakers and chase เข้าใจไหมเนี่ย
หมากรุกกับหมากฮอตใช่ไหม
โอเคเปลี่ยนอีก
ได้อยู่ได้อยู่
เปลี่ยนก็ได้นะเอาเป็นตัวอื่นก็ได้
ไม่ได้อยู่ครับผม
อ่า
เคยเล่นอยู่ประถม
พี่เล่นไม่เป็นน่ะทำไงอ่ะพี่พูดไม่ได้สิ
อ๋อ
พี่
จริงเหรอ
เออ
ตอนประถ
หมาก
มของผมเขา
รุดเดี๋ยวนะหมากรุด
เขาไอ้นั้น
คือหมากรุกหมากฮอตคือเปลี่ยนหมากรุดคือกินไปเรื่อยๆถูกไหมก็คือ
หมาก
รุกไป
รุกคือ
เรื่อย
หมากรุกคือแบบมีหลายๆตัวมีม้ามีเรือมี
ๆหรออันนั้น
คิง
หมากฮอต
มีควีน
ไม่ใช่เหรอ
ไม่หมาคอดคือเดินแบบเดิน
เดิน
เฉียงแล้ว
ก็คือเดินเฉียง
กินเฉียง
เดินเฉียง
อ่า
อ๋อนั่นฉันก็เชสโอเคอันนั้น
หมาคอด
คือม้าม้ามันจะยากกว่าสิ
ถ้าเชสคือม้าอะไรเงี้ย
โอเค
ส่วนเช็คเกอร์เช็คเกอร์คือเดินเฉียงอย่างเดียว
โอเคอ่าเชสคือม้า
อ่า
เนาะโอเคอ่ะ
ใช่
จัดไปครับ
โอเคครับ
นั่งฟังอย่างเดียวเพราะพูดไม่ได้
ตอนเด็กๆครับพี่ไม่เล่นอ่ะแบบประ
ไม่เล่
ถมเลยผม
นไม่เล่นเลยอ่ะแต่
จริงๆเหรอ
ละพี่มีปัญหาเรื่องเนาะรู้สึกเสียเปรียบมากเลยอ่ะ critical
ก่อน
thinking
ลง
ก็จะไม่ค่อยได้เด็กใช่ไหมช่วยสมองไหม
ไม่ครับผมก็เล่นไม่เก่งทีแต่ว่าเล่นเพราะว่าเมื่อก่อนโรงเรียนผมก็ริบโทรศัพท์ไงก็เล่นแต่แบบนี้แหละ
อ๋อพอ
ตอนประ
เราลิฟต์
ถมอะนะ
พอมันไม่มีโทรศัพท์มันก็ไม่มีอะไรเล่นนะเนาะ
ผมก็เล่นแต่การ์ดเล่นแต่พวกนี้แหละบ่อย
อ่า
ๆ
I see โอเคโอเคได้ลองเดี๋ยว
โอเค
right go for it
อ่าI think that checkers and chess is a sport that use strategy in the main point they use strategy but they have a lot of difference I think I will uh, it have three category of difference in these two strategic sport. The first one is the hard to understand the sport. Checkers are more easy to play because checkers playing by you walking your checkers to eat all of your opponent's checkers and win the games.
อืม
But in chess, you have to know all abilities of the chess because in every chess have different ability. Pawns can walk one block. Knight can walk in the L shape or queen can walk in the X shape. Yes, and it have different condition to use it. Sometimes you cannot use these abilities. Sometimes you can use it. The main point of chess is eating a king of another opponent. It is hard to understand because a lot of abilities and yes, that's why it's hard to understand. The second one is the main point of the game. Checkers' main point to win is eat all of the opponents, or if you cannot eat it anymore, the game is tie. Yes, but in chess, to win this game, you can eat the opponent king or make opponent king cannot walk away from the spot that you attack opponents. This is a how to win chess. And the last one is the the last one is the and famous of the sport. Checkers play in only a few tournaments. However, chess is a big interest sport of the strategic sport around the world. Many players in strategy games love to playing chess because it's a game that help learn uh to learn strategy to yes it is a wonderful sport. It is a yes, I think players that play this game must be smart, uh and you need to calculate the future walk. uh Somebody say that a number one of the world, Magnus Carlsen, can manage the future to walk in 33 turn. Yes, and in different in different walk. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
yes it is a big difference from checkers. That's
I
the
see.
contrast of checker and chess. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so to me, right, I personally believe that if I can compare, contrast between the two, I think that the first one is that the rule and regulations for people or for the players that have to, completely understand what they are going to do together within the policy or even the rules and regulations here. Sometimes like it must be avoid some kind of thing that we cannot do just because it may against to the rule violence the rule or regulations here. Second, I think that the way that people uh-huh uh, the purpose of using this kind of games players, I think that just because some people may play with the purpose driven, for example, like those people who want to practice how to recalling, right, recalling such memorizing or things like that. So this is really one of the most chance to do so to adapt themselves become to be a learner or players in that sense. But to those people, however, I can say that they just using this kind of functionality of this as player for fun or for leisure activities. So this is maybe a relaxation or the way that they can improve their lifestyle, right? If they have a chance or a free time. So this is the only way that they can do too. And I think that even people good at that players, sometimes they might become to be a professional expert, and they can take it for granted. I mean, they can take it for their own later professional life in order to make a career. So this is really important for them too, to consistently practice and become mastery at it. And those people who just play for fun, sometimes like we can learn something new. For example, like critical thinking skill, logical thinking skill, or even systematically thinking system, right? That can be drawn from the way that we understand the rule and regulations from this kind of checker and chasing just for winning, losing, and then entertaining here, right? Things like that. เป็นไงบ้าง
อ่า
เหนื่อยเป็นให้ผมประเมินตัวเองวันนี้พี่พักคือพี่เบรกแค่นี้ก่อนได้ไหมเพราะว่าพี่
ได้ครับ
ติดธุระนิดหนึ่งนะฮะแล้ว
ได้
ก็
ครับได้ครับ
เดี๋ยวพี่ฝากการบ้านได้ไหมเรามีเวลาไหม
ได้ครับ
พี่ฝากการบ้านwriting แล้วกันเอาอย่างเงี้ย
อืม
อันนี้3 หัวข้อนี่เลือกมา1 ข้อแล้วกันลองไปไล่เขียนดู
อืม
นะครับ
โอเคครับ
โอเคนะ
อยู่ตรงไหน
ประมาณ
นะครับอันนี้
อันนี้อยู่ใน
หรือว่า
speaking อยู่ใน speaking
ใน
น่าจะ
speaking
หน้าท้ายๆ
น่าจะได้เดี๋ยวผมถ่ายจากพี่เอาไว้ก็ได้
แคป
ชึบ
อันนี้ก็ได้
โอเคเรียบร้อยครับ
นะครับโอเคนะอ่าส่วน speaking ก็ไม่เป็นไรก็ฝึกไปก่อนแต่ว่าพี่คิดว่าน่าจะได้แหละยืนพื้นสัก ตอนนี้ก็6.5แต่เราอยากได้ให้ได้แบน7อ่ะนะได้ไหม
อื
เออ
มโอเคครับได้ครับ
โอเคงั้น just enough for today right and
โอ
if you
เค
have any questions just feel free to ask rightนี่คุยกันใน
โอเค
ไลน์นะครับครับสวัสดีครับบ๊ายบายครับ
ครับผมสวัสดีครับ
ครับ